I gotta say, New York Fashion Week in February. I mean, September was okay,
If I make it, I will text you.
but I just feel like with every New York Fashion Week, each subsequent one over the past few years has just gotten smaller, less vibe, less happening on the streets than previously. I don't know if it's the economy. I don't know if it's like, I mean, people in the fashion industry will say that like just New York Fashion Week is just dead and not happening. But I don't really shoot the shows. I shoot kids on the street and what I call unicorns. You know, people that just look amazing. You know, sometimes you'll see a model or a designer or somebody in the business who just looks incredible, and I'll stop them. But most of what I shoot is kids who have come up here from places like Ohio, you know, Cleveland, Houston, Dallas, LA, whatever. And obviously there's a lot of people who come down from Harlem, Crown Heights, Bed-Stuy, and just showcase their personal style. They're just here just to hang, go to the parties, be seen. And so that's pretty much everybody who I photographed. You know, there's a couple of people who I photographed here who are represented, let's say, by smaller agencies who look kind of amazing, you'll see. But this was me really just getting out and digging and just going up to people and just trying to get them to, you know, going up and seeing people, introducing myself, and photographing them. And I gotta say, everybody was up for it. I really didn't get a single no to anybody who I asked. Fashion Week is always great, you know, because you meet people, you meet young people. Thing that is good for me, I mean, I love the pictures. I love taking the pictures, getting the photographs. I mean, that's why I do it, is to get the pictures. But it's not the only reason why I do it. I meet so many young people that have dreams. You know, they want to make it as a designer, as a stylist, as a model, as an influencer, whatever. And they're all young people, and they're all just coming out and trying to do their thing. They're all trying to be seen, and I see them. And there's always an openness and a joy when I ask them if I want to take their photograph. There's no attitude, there's nobody suspicious, nobody is curious about my motivation. And obviously I share the pictures with them, and I show them my IG feed, and I show them the kind of work that I do, and they see that it's something that resonates with them, obviously, and so that's one of the reasons why they let me photograph them. But if you are lacking in hope for the future, you're worried about AI and about losing our humanity, just come out, meet some young people who are trying to do their thing, bring a camera, talk to people, connect with other people who you don't know. Listen to stories about where they're from, what their dreams are, where they live, what they think about New York. It's beautiful, man. It makes me feel so good inside, gives me so much hope and optimism. The complete opposite of what you get every time you turn on the news or hop on any social media. So, all right. So I'm in SoHo and have a very special surprise guest, our good friend, my good friend, Paul Reid.
Hi, how you doing?
All right, so I'm going to stoop at Paul, and he's got a split, but he's here in New York for a very special reason, and I want him to talk about that. So I'm just going to ask him why he's here, and you can listen to what he has to say. So, Paul, good to
bright.
I know. Lean back. We're
cool.
all right. So, what you doing in New York?
Well, I mean, the main reason is because it's like a street photographer's dream here to me. Anyway, where I'm from, very quiet. Even London compared to New York is pretty quiet. So the streets have got their personality. There's the people. So that's kind of the main reason, is to shoot some good street photography. The other thing is I'm holding a couple of workshops as well, and those are street photography and street portraits. And I love doing those workshops because it's just such a good thing to do, is just be with other photographers and get all their enthusiasm, and everybody kind of bounces off each other. And yeah, so that's why I'm here. I mean, the main reason is just to kind of shoot street, and then the other reason is to hold these workshops as well.
So what do you love about New York, and why do you want to share it with the people who sign up for your workshops?
So, I mean, one of the things is, well, certainly kind of the foot traffic helps, because you've just got more chance of somebody walking along that you are drawn to. So, if it was my hometown of Lockerbie, I could stand on that street for a day, and you'd be lucky to find one person that you're drawn to, that you would want to photograph. Whereas in New York, I can see like 50 people a day come along where I go, look at them, and just be kind of drawn to wanting to take either their portrait or just, and also, look, obviously, with me being from the UK, everything's like a movie to me here. Everything from, it's just like a backdrop, in a movie, and that's kind of the main reason why I love to come here. I know, like, people do ask me, why don't you come here? Why don't you? There's lots of different places where people want me to go in the US, but I am drawn to this place, just because it's got personality.
Yeah. And I know that, like, you have a lot of repeat customers, like people who go on your classes again and again and again. And I guess it must be a cool thing for them to, if they've done ones in Scotland with you, and then they've done ones down in London with you, and maybe you go to Europe, but to say, hey, everybody, let's get on the plane and come to New York. It's just like within the boundaries of what you teach them about how to do what you do, to kind of be a fish out of water and go someplace totally new. You can learn new things being in a new place, right? And then, like, everybody always has that thing when they start taking street portraits or doing street photos where they're self-conscious about approaching people, or about not wanting to make somebody angry by taking their photograph. And, like, New York is a place where, like, if you want to get thrown off the deep end, like, this is the place to go to to either get rid of those fears or to have those fears reinforced. I guess, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah.
It's just such a cool place, and obviously, kind of down here in Soho and everything, you've just got cool people. So many cool people, like, walking around. But some of the places that people, I guess, like, the people that live here would avoid Times Square, like, avoid it so much because it's it's a bit of a touristy place. But even kind of round about Times Square and some of the streets down there, they're really cool, and there's a lot of, like, again, a lot of great people down those streets as well. It's just I guess from not being here, I'll probably see things that somebody that lives here, I'll see things that they don't, and vice versa. Somebody that lives here will see a lot of things that I don't as well, because they're so used to the place. But yeah,
it's really funny that you mentioned that, because when I was shooting out in the snow the other night in the blizzard, I walked through Times Square, and I never shoot down there because it's people dressed up in costume characters, and they're trying to go up and take a picture with you, so you tip them and all that stuff. And there's all these like chain food restaurants and everything, and you forget that like Times Square is for decades and decades has been a place where people all over the world come and they go, oh my God, I'm in Times Square. It's an aspirational place to go.
Yeah.
So when I was out the other night, I actually spent in the blizzard about an hour and a half shooting around Times Square up the side streets, because there's so much great light at night. There's like neon and all these the theaters and all that stuff.
And everything like that.
But as a New Yorker, like I'm like, oh, I would never shoot in Times Square. And then I had a moment where I was like, I would normally never shoot in Times Square, but tonight, like this is in the middle of a huge snowstorm. It was amazing, and I got some great pictures. So
I was jealous when I saw that you'd been out in the blizzard, because I was hoping for some snow, which is why because I did the workshops in the summer, which was absolutely boiling hot. But I thought, well, if I do it in the winter, maybe might just get some snow. I've just missed it.
It's great to take pictures in golden hour and blue hour and all that. It's great to do all that stuff. But we've talked about this before, like going out in the rain or something like that. Like sometimes you go out on these days where you go, I'd rather stay inside, and you go out and you get that one picture that's just the best picture you ever took, because that was the day to take that picture, right?
And whatever the weather is, like today you've got this bright and sunny day where you've got all the light, the shadows, and it's all really cool. And I shoot a different way when it's like this to whenever it's dull, so I'm from Scotland, and it's dull, like a lot of the times the light is flat, and I guess I shoot in a different way. I'm almost kind of not led by the light, I'm led by the people, the characters.
Same.
Okay? As soon as the light's out, suddenly I start following, I'm following the light around. But then, if the weather's bad, say if it was pouring down with rain, I'll probably want to capture that rain coming down, and I want the people pushing against, the wind, or with umbrellas and all of that sort of thing. And then if it was the snow, it'd be the same. I'd be wanting, because it's like it has its own atmosphere, and like atmosphere is sometimes hard to capture, especially unless you want the atmosphere of a dull day. But atmosphere, like all the smoke coming out, all the grates and all that sort of stuff near Times Square and all that, that's atmosphere. That's atmosphere. It kind of like it adds to the whole kind of vibe of the place.
But it's funny. It's like what we were talking about a little bit earlier. Like when you've been taking pictures for a while, it's not enough just to have a picture of a cool person. You're like, I want a picture of a cool person in front of a cool building with some cool texture or something happening. You want maybe like 3 things in a picture. You want an interesting person, interesting background, and then some third thing,
something
right?
else that you didn't even think of.
Exactly,
Just
exactly.
Like suddenly, for me, it used to always be, and I always call it an element of luck.
Well, and like that famous picture you took of that little boy.
Yeah.
He had something within him that was the third element, right?
Yeah.
And that's why that picture, so many people are attracted to that photograph, because there was just something within him. And that can be the difference. Like if you're a really good portrait photographer, if you can draw that out of somebody and draw that third thing out of someone, that's the magic. If you can do that, and not everybody can do that. That's a skill. I think that's. And when people ask me, or anybody who I talk to about your pictures, I think that like your strength is seeing interesting looking people, but then drawing something out of them that is that third thing, that it isn't just an accident that it's there. Like you're pulling it out of somebody.
Yeah, which I don't know how that happens, but
it's rapport, right?
It's got to be. Funny, like that photograph of the Ben in the barn, that portrait. It's really weird looking at that portrait now, because it's almost like I look at that and it's almost like that's me as a child.
Yeah.
Like there's something like, look at, I think it's because I'm so familiar with that portrait now.
Yeah.
That when I look at it, it's almost like, is that me? Like when I was or something.
Well,
it's just odd.
I mean, no, but I guess like for certain artists, like if they have a hit and they always for the rest of their life, it's like, okay, I had this is my first song and it's a hit, and you're like, okay, I've done all these other things since then, but when I go and I play somewhere, people want to hear that song. I've always got to play that song. That's like one of your kind of hits. So it's like it's kind of like, you know, that's going to be attached to you like for the rest of your photographic career.
Funny you should say like about hits or and doing to do with music and stuff, because one of the things that I always kind of go on about to people is I know a lot of photographers that have got a lot of album tracks. Like they've got a lot of photographs, right? And they're all album tracks.
Yeah.
They've not got any pop hits. And nobody is gonna listen to the album tracks until they've had some pop hits.
I hate to say it, that's kind of, I would put myself in that category. I got a lot of album tracks. If I was a Yes album, I would be Tales from Topographic Oceans. if I was a Rolling Stones album, I would be Exile on Main Street. Although maybe that's being too kind to myself. But anyway, what that picture reminds me of that boy is here the U2 album Boy. You know that?
Oh yes.
With the picture of that kid on the front of there.
I know why you would.
It's got a little bit of the same kind of a thing. It makes you stop in your tracks and really look at the photograph. Yeah, and I remember when I saw that album in the racks in like whenever it was 1982 or 83 or whenever it came out, and seeing that in a record shop and seeing that cover and being like, what the hell is that? It made you pick the cover up. And I think that portrait has kind of a little bit of the same thing.
Yeah. And who knows what you've seen in the past, you know, like that kind of makes you want to take a photograph, you know, like for me, hopefully, you know, it's usually like this combination of everything that you've seen before, and that's why you frame it a certain way, and that's why you know, everything just feels right, you know, with some of all the things that we've seen, you know, it's as long as you don't completely kind of like just see one photographer and then just think, right, that's how I'm going to take photographs, and then just completely kind of copy that style. But I think if you just kind of pull in on all of these, not just photography, on everything.
It's your whole life. It's when I did a mentorship with Ralph Gibson, and one of the things that he said to me in one of our first conversations was, you know, if you haven't had an interesting life, you're not going to take interesting pictures. Like, you know, if you traveled and done different jobs and gotten your ass kicked by life and had loved and lost and listened to music and seen films and all that stuff, every time you bring the camera up to your eye, that's all in the frame, not just what's in the frame. All that's like it's your eye. It's who makes you as a photographer. So, you know, it's like we were talking about before, like you might have taken a very simplistic picture 20 years ago and been happy with, oh, I'm good with that, I'm happy with that. And now that you have all that extra life experience, you know, being a father and going through all the things that you've gone through and traveling and all the pictures you've taken, you know, you don't need to take that picture anymore. You're going to take something that's much more developed.
I know that there's certain photographs that I've taken that I can't take now.
Yeah.
Not just because I'm not there, I'm not in that place in my life. So, you know, those photographs that I took on the underground, the Lonesome Underground, and it usually is
the one of the cops.
My favourite one of those. But that whole series, it's like I'm not lonely. So how can I take these kind of like lonely pictures of these people, because I'm not relating to anything? So it's almost like I can't take those photos now, but I can take these.
So when you were
now.
taking those pictures, was that like emotionally where you were at? Was that because you were by like kind of on your own, and so that there was a part of that there?
I guess, I maybe just that kind of was maybe drawn to it or something like that. But I look at those photographs now and I go, you can't do that now.
Yeah.
You're going to do something else. You know, how are you feeling now? Miserable.
Yeah, I need to have a shit day so I can go take some good pictures, right? Well, I'm glad you are here in New York and are coming back, and I'm sure that the people who take your workshop are going to have an amazing time. If people want to find out more about what you do, your process, you know, all the educational stuff that you do, your mentorships, what should they do? How should they find out about all that?
I mean, probably just go on the website, paulreidphotography.com, or on the Instagram, you know, anything like that. And then there's pretty much if you Google Paul Reid photography, it'll come up with like pretty much everything. I think there is one other photographer called Paul Reid, but I don't think it comes up as.
And are you coming back? You're coming back to New York again this year, right?
September, which is pretty much fully booked. I think so I'm doing a 2-day and a 1-day workshop. The 1-day is almost full. The 2-day one's full. But then I'm doing a 3-day workshop next year, and that is I'm excited about that one.
And when is that going to be? What?
Can't remember the exact date, but it's summer. It's summer. I think it's July, maybe.
Well, if you want to learn from Paul, I mean, all you got to do is go on his Instagram feed and look at his pictures, and you'll be like, holy shit, and see how amazing the work is. And then he's a great teacher and a really good dude, and definitely glad to have him in New York. And I just want to show you where we're sitting here, because we're a couple of old nonconformists. It says, we're shooting at a place that says, do not sit here.
Yeah.
So anyway, thanks for joining us, Paul, and best of luck with the photography workshop. And check out Paul on his Instagram page, which is Paul Reid Photography.
Paul Reid Photography. Everything's Paul Reid Photography. I learned a long time ago. Just put your name on something. REID though.
I don't do that. See, he knows. This is why nobody knows who that. Well, one of the many reasons nobody knows who the hell I am, and everybody knows. Anyway, all right. Goodbye from Soho, New York, not Soho, UK. Soho, New York.
Yeah. See ya.